What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to the morning bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Great to see all of you. We are rolling. We are rolling. It was an excellent day yesterday. Overall, 16 and 9 plus 6.15 units. Now, some mistakes were made in MLB. Went 13 and 9. Uh, so some mistakes were made. I guess what was the egregious errors? Expecting Brandon Young to be over his inning count and to fall apart. That cost me. Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown cost me, but it was a really good day overall. Boston, Toronto, first 300 2.5 cash, but the first 504 lost. New York Mets, Atlanta, first 300 2.5 and first 504 and a half. That line went heavily against me. Both cashed easily. Royals for 3 plus a half. Down 1-0 after 3. It's too bad. Cashed the first 5 plus 1. Cashed the Cubs -1. Got in the Cubs live. Pushed the Yankees first 5. Brian Wu was excellent. So and Matty Ice put that on a silver platter for us that he, this is where he pitches very well. And he did, but we didn't. No harm, no foul. I get the push out of that. White Sox first 5 -1/2, easy casher. Shocked that they fell apart late. We lost the full game -1. Rays -1 is, there's nothing easy, but it sure felt easy. Astros run line was a loser. Cleveland, Detroit first 300 2.5. That was a spot Matty Ice got me on. It was excellent. Marlins plus 103. Yuri Perez is a beast. Then Minnesota first 5 loss. St. Louis first 5 plus a half. I can't stop myself with these card spots. I've got Leahy going today. Now that was the TJ special. I might not even move on that if TJ wasn't so loving the spot as well. Low volatility, first 5 plus a half, beautiful. Texas LA first 300 2.5 lost. That was too bad. But the first 5 under 5 cashed. Arizona Colorado first 303 cashed. Milwaukee, San Diego, first 300 2.5 lost. Padres, that was a market bet. We did that together. That cashed. Houston, first 5 -1/2 lost. And then I put together, I bet the birthday, a parlay that lost for our guy OG Swag, bottom of the 9th bets. Sucks. It's such a terrible feeling giving someone a birthday bet that loses. But I went ahead and bet it as well. So that was frustrating that the Astros didn't come through. So that is the day that was. So that fine day in MLB. We're moving in the right direction. 13 and 9 plus 3.15 units, but we sweep the board in WNBA. Fever -2.5, Mercury plus 2.5, Aces -6. So we bet the Fever after a 2-point move against us. We bet the Mercury after a 4-point move against us, and we bet the Aces after a 1.5 move against us. I'd love to be able to carry that over into the NBA, the confidence to still make bets even when the line moves against us. We've been succeeding with it in WNBA, and I'd love to move it into NBA. We'll see if I have the confidence for that. So great to see all of you guys. I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up with what we're doing. I'm pumped up with the work that we're doing, and I've got to keep winning. And I know you guys feel the exact same way. Let me get all of we got stacks plays of day 1 and 2. Let's get ready to attack this board. It's Murakami over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Paige Becker's 30 plus points and assists. I was thinking I was going to be on the tempo today. Ozzie Fudd practiced in full yesterday. I thought maybe the line is just baked in that Fudd is going to play. I thought this line would move further towards the wings, which it hasn't yet. I haven't moved on that game. A nuke worker in the house, sick from the fall. Matty Ice, Nicholas Handy. There's bottom of the 9th bets. Hope you had a great, great birthday, man. Astros sold on us, man. A Walla Walla dose in the house. Nasty Nate said, my youngest turned 17 today, and she needs a birthday pick. Okay. All right. That works for me, man. Let's get this copied and pasted. Happy birthday to your youngest, Nasty Nate. 17 years, whole life ahead. Yes, we will get a birthday pick here. Great to see all of you guys. Turnbuckle Tommy in the house running very hot. I love to see it. Tat the Cliff. Ayo, D462 for life. Let's get to work here. Let's get to work. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's attack the board. We start at 1:40 p.m. Eastern with the Baltimore Orioles, 57 and 61, 25 and 31 on the road to the Minnesota Twins, 58 and 61, 30 and 27 at home. Kelly McInnes, low key, says off the grease today. Got to figure out how I'm going to bet there. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. I have to take pictures of action and send it to my local when I'm on the road. It's not easy. Flank steak plays of the day are in, and is the Red Sox. BT ready to get to work. Loki, have a great trip. Have a great birthday trip to Greece. It's too bad you can't rock with us at the low bag, some of the champions at Woodbine, but look, Greece is pretty magical. All right, you guys know my thoughts on the Wizard of Oz. My thoughts on the Wizard of Oz is that he's never been better, that he's pitching better than he ever has, ever. And how long will that go for? I mean, that's the question you have to ask yourself, and that I have to ask myself. But Wizard of Oz has never been better. 3.76 ERA, 4.13 expected ERA, 1.32 WHIP. And, he was pretty mediocre for a lot of this season until lately. He started shoving. That last start was an absolute thing of beauty. It was a complete game loss. He went 8 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 9 Ks, 1 walk, 1 loss at the Rangers. Start before that, 6 1/3, 1 earned run at home versus the Phillies. It just feels like he's really found himself. His 4 starts since the All-Star break, he's allowed 5 earned runs. He's walked 4 batters with 30 strikeouts. And he only needed 93 pitches for that game. Turnbuckle Tommy on the first 3 under 2.5 in the Orioles' first 5 says possibly a full game under for him. For me, I have moved on the Orioles' first 5 and the Orioles' first 3. Gosh, making sure, because the first 3 wasn't available for me, so I bet the first 5 at first. I got the first 5 at -106. I got the first 3 at -115. And I'm a Boz believer. Now, others are Zebby Matthews believers. I am not. But he's been much better at home than he's been on the road. You can see by these extreme stats. 5-8, 5.23 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. He's got a 4.77 expected ERA. He didn't come close to making the team out of spring training. He was bad last year in the show. He was bad at AAA. And then he just starts delivering in the major league level. So, I mean, we see pitchers do that. Now, he's not looked good except when he is at home. These last 2 starts have been pretty ugly. 10 innings combined at the Mariners in the run-suppressing ballpark, and at the Brewers, a tough place to pitch. 10 innings, 11 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 14 Ks, 4 walks. His last start at home was versus the Athletics, and he completely shut them down. Start before that was versus the Angels. They got to him for 4 earned runs over 6 innings. I don't really want to back Zebby Matthews. If Zebby Matthews gets touched for 3 runs in the first 3 innings, and I would lose that first 3 under, I would be really upset at myself. My whole cap is that I have an advantage with Boz over Zebby Matthews. Boz is pitching very, very well right now, and everything else is a wash to me. The Twins bullpen, Orioles bullpen, Twins bullpen 3.36 ERA, 1.48 WHIP, Orioles bullpen 3.66 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. They're both pitching much better than they pitched all year long. The Twins did get some reinforcements. Then when it comes to the sticks, neither team's hitting at all. Twins 218, 644 OPS, Orioles 199, 626 OPS. So when it comes down to it, that is my advantage, is the Wizard of Oz. This line opened up at plus 104. By 3 a.m. it was minus 109. I'd love to be sitting here at a minus 109, but we're sitting at a minus 101. It's come back 8 cents. So we've had 5 cents of movement towards the Baltimore Orioles. When we get to the total here in this one, we've climbed up to a 9, but it's not over 8.5 at minus 120 to the over, and under 9 minus 120 to the under. That's a very minuscule move. And then when we get to the cash flow for our first spot on the board here, 61% of the ticket, 62% of the cash is on the Orioles. I would like the line to be moving in their direction, and you can't have it all, I guess. 57% of the tickets and 72% of the cash is on the under. And I'm comfortable with my action. I'm not going to add unders. I get them. TJ in the house, Cincinnati first 5. He's joined the Rhett Lauder train. I've doubled up on those spots. I'd love to see it. Let's copy and paste. So that's our first game on the board. First 3 and first 5 for me. I'm going to copy and paste our spotlight plays of the day. We got TJ's ready to go. We have Matty Ice Taint play of the day is in. All copied and pasted. And let me also say, Tommy, that I don't dislike your unders at all. I kind of like them. I don't want to be right about Zebby who again, he's been great at home. I mean, but this I'm very comfortable where I stand. Very comfortable where I stand, and that is Orioles first 3 and first 5. So that is my action. I'm leaving the unders off here. TJ says that St. Louis plus a half was a thing of beauty yesterday. It sure was. It sure was, TJ. We talked about it right off the top of the show. It was great. Great bet. Low volatility. Get the plus a half. And I'm doing it again today. TJ, I'm doing it again today. Philadelphia Phillies 63 and 56, 31 and 26 on the road at St. Louis Cardinals, 59 and 59, 30 and 33 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. 0% runs, plus 3% homers, minus 5% doubles and triples, and plus 6% singles. We have Zach Wheeler on the hill, 10 and 3, 2.69 ERA, 0.98 WHIP, 2.72 expected ERA. A lot of articles out there right now about whether or not his foot is on the rubber. And the Jays were going off on him about his foot, whether or not it was on the rubber. And it got in his head. Now, look, he's a tough guy. He would just say, I didn't have it that day. It wasn't in my head at all. And he would probably throw obscenities at me. 4 earned runs were 5 in the third, and the 5-4 loss at home versus Jays. He walked 5 batters. When was the last time you saw Zach Wheeler walk 5 batters? We have Philly Eagle Flyer on the Tide after 2. AM says the ball will be carrying in a hot day in St. Louis. The start before that for Zach Wheeler was a rain-shortened start, so he only threw 2 innings there. The start before that, he allowed 5 earned runs over 3 innings at the Marlins. His first start after the All-Star break was good, but these last 3 appearances have not been very good. And right now, I want Kyle Leahy to go up against the best pitchers in the league. I get the plus a half when he does. We cashed with the first 5 plus a half against Dylan Cease. I made the same bets. First 3. Now the first 3 plus a half was like minus 145 or something against Cease. And it was just too much vig. I went for the score on the first 3 money line, which I'm doing here. And then I took the first 5 plus a half, which cashed against Cease. I like Leahy very much. I think he's a very good pitcher. There's certain pitchers, and Boz follows this same suit, is that they're pitching better at this moment right now than they've pitched all year long. And then you have the opposite with, Foster Griffin and other pitchers that are gone today. But Kyle Leahy is shoving, and I'm on his train every single start. First 3, first 5, I'm backing Leahy every start. 3.45 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. I said the 5.22 expected ERA. He's got some issues with the expected ERA, but he gets a ton of ground balls, and they don't help him. Friday, August 7th, his last start, 2 earned runs over 5 innings and a 3-2 win at home versus the Rockies. That was him against Feltner. Then the start before that, it was him against Cease. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 1 walk. He has not allowed more than 1 earned run in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 starts. 8 starts. Bullpen-wise, I don't trust either. The Phillies bullpen is pitching a little better right now. Cards bullpen 4.70 ERA, 1.45 WHIP. Phillies bullpen 4.15 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. When it comes to the sticks, the Cards are starting to hit a little bit. Still no power. Burleson and Jordan Walker. I mean, they need them to. No one else has power on that team, and if those guys aren't, hitting hard, then there's no power to be found. 245, 646 OPS last 30. Phillies versus righties last 30 days. It's at 240, 707 OPS. We get into the line history here. This total opened up an 8.5 at a pick'em. It's now an 8 juice to the under. That does appeal to me. On the money line for this spot, we've had a 4 cents of movement towards Zach Wheeler. I'd like to look at the difference first 5 and full game. I should have done that with the last game on Pinnacle as well. I'll do that now. Let's do that right now. So the Phillies are minus 150. Well, I like the Cards. The Cards are plus 142 a full game. First 5 plus 134. It's not a big difference, but I mean, you're going up against Zach Wheeler, and he's minus 155 full game, just minus 154 first 5. I do like that. Speaking of which, I know we didn't do this for Orioles Twins, but the Orioles are minus 102 full game. First 5, they're minus 116. Look at that. Minus 116 are the Orioles first 5. Talk about tipping your hand. That's great. I got it in minus 106. That's moved 10 cents in my favor. I didn't realize that it happened. And then when we get to the cash flow for Phillies, Cardinals here. Let's get over here for Phillies. Cardinals, little NL action. We have 84% of the tickets on Philly, but just 52% of the cash. I love that. 73% of tickets on the under and 95% of cash on the under. That's a lot. That is a lot. Warbuck says Philly -1.5. What are we doing? We're cashing on the St. Louis Cardinals over and over and over again when it's low volatility and Leahy's on the mound. But, teach their own. Robert Franklin joining me on the Cards first 5 +0.5. TV Jones in the house. Turnbuckle Tommy says Phillies just don't seem to hit on the road. And Turnbuckle Tommy says Leahy does struggle against lefties, 1.83 whip and a 320 average against. He's been much better against them of late, but that is fair. He was getting annihilated by lefties earlier in the year, and when that changed, all his numbers changed. But that is fair. That's fair. Wouldn't mind going into Leahy a little bit more very quickly. I know we got to move on to the next game, but let's just take a look at what we've seen from lefties and from righties. It's a long cry. We've come a long way from that one over 1,000 OPS. But you're right, 876 OPS. This Phillies lineup just does not concern me at all. And look at what Leahy has done. If you just look at his ERAs from month to month, March 7.20, April 5.18, May 2.81, June 3.76, July 1.38. I mean, he's just getting better and better and better and better. Look at the opponent's batting average. March 364, April 306, May 255, June 258, July 204. So there's Steve G in the house. So look, I'm backing Leahy again, and I'm comfortable with the spot again. So I got the Cards first 5 +0.5 at -113. Let's just see what that is right now. If that line is moved against me, love seeing that love seeing that Orioles first 5 line. The first half now -0.5. It's -105. Oh no, that's sorry. First 5 +0.5 -111. Not great, but I'm comfortable with the spot. And I guess they are implying here with this total dropping in the hot weather that Wheeler will shove as well. I'm not going to move on that, but I could understand moving on the first 3 under at this point. So double up for me, and a double up on the next game as well. Let's roll. Next spot on the board, 3:05 p.m. Eastern. The Tampa Bay Rays 71 and 46, 30 and 28 on the road at the Athletics, 47 and 71, 21 and 36 at home. We're at Sutter Health Park, Sacramento, California. Plus 20% runs, plus 27% homers, plus 12% doubles and triples, and plus 5% singles. We have Drew Rasmussen on the mound, and man, the way, how do they look? I understand that Jack Perkins has, better numbers than these surface numbers. That he's done some good stuff, but he seems to get tagged in every start. We were on the Rays -1 yesterday very easily. They're dominating teams, and the Athletics are falling apart here. Rasmussen has been unbelievable. And another thing about this is, look at Rasmussen last 3 starts. He hasn't allowed a run. He's allowed 2 earned runs post All-Star break over 4 starts. We're talking 25 innings. And, if you were to say, look, Rasmussen at home versus the Guardians at the Trop, at home versus the White Sox at the Trop, and then at the Mariners, those are, run suppressing stadiums. And now he's going to pitch in a very difficult one. But then you think, where did Rasmussen pitch all last year? In that Rays AAA ballpark. That had extreme offensive conditions. So I think that he's dealt with this exact scenario. And I don't see why it would affect him that much. Yes, it's going to be much more difficult. He's also not been getting a lot of offense. They've won all 4 games since the All-Star break. That first game, they scored 12 runs for him. These last 3 games, they've combined to score 4 runs in 3 games, and they've won them all because Rasmussen shoves. Jack Perkins on the other side, 7.04 ERA, 1.45 whips, got a 4.05 expected ERA. Last time we saw him Friday, August 7th, 13-1 loss to the Red Sox, 5 earned runs over 3 innings. He's got some pretty ugly numbers. The first 2 starts post All-Star break were okay. The 3 earned runs were 5 innings at Arizona. July 27th, 2 earned runs over 5 2/3 at home versus the Red Sox. The last two starts have not been good. He's combined to allow 11 earned runs over 8 1/3, 4 home runs with 12 Ks and 4 walks. So now Turnbuckle Thomas says Athletics have 23 plate appearances versus Rasmussen with a 364 average and a 1.073 OPS. Sick from the Fall says Perkins is terrible. I mean, how is he still starting? Look, he's got a 4.05 expected ERA. He's had bad luck, BABIP issues that don't need to be held against him. But also, he's not going to be a part of this rotation 2 years from now. I mean, they don't have high hopes for Perkins. He's just a fill-in. He's a seat filler. And so, look, maybe this is too easy. But I fell for it. I got the first 5 minus a half of minus 130. I got the full game minus 1.5 of minus 130. Both at Bet Online. I thought this was going to be more expensive, honestly. This opened up at minus 200. It's moved to minus 210. I bet you it's minus 220 by the end of the show, and it should be minus 240 or 250 by the time the game pops off. We have the total here. We have a 9.5 juice to the under. It hasn't moved. This opened up under 9.5 minus 120. Now it's under 9.5 minus 118. Very comfortable with the situation. A's bullpen, as you can see, is horrific. 7.86 ERA, 1.79 WHIP. Rays bullpen very good, very elite. And then the Rays are hitting harder than the A's. I mean, at what point don't we have an advantage? So this is pretty simple. It's cut and dry. It's a public spot. I know that those can be dangerous ones to move on. And in fact, the big bets have come in on the A's. I guess that's what's kept this line down. It's pretty interesting. So only 15% of the tickets are on the A's and 63% of the cash. 69% of tickets are on the under and 70% cash on the under. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable here. Rasmussen has had 4 games played this season on 4 days rest, says Tommy. Says in 2 of those games he gave up 6 and 3. He's on 4 days rest here. Just saying be cautious. Ty Clinton, the green completely. Look, I'm very comfortable. Should I not be this comfortable? Okay. Sorry, Cummica says your banner says a game for Arizona with a price, but nothing picked for it. Is that because of the oh, yeah, I don't know why that is. Okay, no worries. We'll get that fixed, buddy. Thank you for the heads up. Okay, let's roll on to that very game here. 3:40 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Rockies, Arizona Diamondbacks. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. So, we cashed with the first 3 under 3 yesterday on Tuesday comfortably. I mean, they did score 2 runs in the first inning, but then they didn't. It was a 3-2 final score. We're at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Rockies 19-40 on the road. Diamondbacks 35-25 at home. We have Ryan Feltner, and I think Ryan Feltner is going to pitch well here today. And Feltner has some ugly numbers, so I can understand why one wouldn't believe that. Feltner 4-6, 5.71 ERA, 1.45 WHIP. Got a 5.45 expected ERA. He's had a tough go. We barely saw him in 2025 because of injuries. He had 6 starts. Then he was healthy to start the year, and then he dealt with the tricep issues and right ulnar nerve inflammation, and he was on the shelf. He came out, was excellent. He was so good. Like I was like, finally, you're showing everybody. 5 of his first 6 starts, even 6 of his first 7 starts off the IL were very good. And then he started getting crushed again, and I guess that's just how, 4 starts of getting crushed here, July 9th, before the All-Star break, and then 3 starts after the All-Star break. Last start was an okay start, at the Cardinals. Warbuck says over, and Rockies team total over 4.5. Not only am I a believer in Feltner, and I know, I really think there's an advantage when you do believe in these pitchers with pretty ugly statistical profiles. If you believe that they're capable of pitching at a much higher level than the statistical profile indicates, obviously we talk about that's an opportunity to make money. Merrill Kelly, on the other hand, 4.88 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. Merrill Kelly's been good, and he's been getting us paid. He has now had so we're now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 starts, only 1 bad start in the 7. That was Sunday, August 2nd, 5-0 loss at the Guardians. And it wasn't a back injury that Merrill Kelly had. Warbucks, I thought that was just a calf. Let's just go into this right now, because if it's a back injury, If it's a back injury, that would be different. I thought he just had a what's it called? Just he was dehydrated. Okay, leave his last. Sorry, this is very important. And yeah, it was a right leg cramp. So that's huge. Obviously, if Warbuck saying Kelly had a back injury Friday. If it was a back injury, I would buy out of it. We've seen what happened with Dustin May with his back injury, and we know that Merrill Kelly has dealt with the back injury at the beginning of the year. It was just a leg cramp. He was dehydrated. It's nothing. So his last start was great. 5 2/3, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 4 walks, a 4-3 win at home over the Dodgers. Yeah, he walked 4 batters, but look, the Dodgers are a tough lineup too, even with their numbers down. So I really like Merrill Kelly. I really, really do. I like him. Shotgun play of the day for Ron Crawford is in as well. We're going to talk all about that. Quickly with the bullpens, the Rockies bullpen has been a struggle all year. 4.99 ERA, 1.46 whip. Diamondbacks bullpen, 4.20 ERA, 1.30 whip. And pitching better of late. Rockies versus righties, 248, 714 OPS. Despite the offensive conditions they play in so often, they're not hitting hard. And the Diamondbacks are hitting right now, 250, 761 OPS. We go into the line history here for this spot. We have a 10-cent move to the under. This is a 9.5 minus 120. It opened up 9.5 minus 110. And then on the money line here, we have 6 cents of movement to Arizona, but there had been no movement for a long time. This opened up at 1:37 p.m. yesterday at minus 170. You could have got it at minus 172 at 7 this morning. It moved 4 cents from minus 172 to minus 176 at 7:30 this morning. I'm very comfortable with all of that. And then with the cash flow here for this spot, we have 89% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on Merrill Kelly, 55% of the tickets on the under and 83% of cash on the under. That's a lot of money to be on Arizona right now. It's all good, Warbucks, buddy, man. Don't worry. We're just trying to, don't worry. Your money in the bank. Don't worry about a thing, my man. Robert Cherry, great to see you, man. So with this all said and done, I moved on the first 3 under 3 at minus 120 and the first 5 under 5.5 minus 117. And I felt great about it last night. 2:30 in the morning. I'm looking at this. It's now a 5 at a pick'em, and the 2.5s. That first 3 under had only moved 10 cents in my direction, but the first 5 had moved heavily. And then all of a sudden I wake up and it's back. So that does make me quite uncomfortable. Right now, this first 5 under 5.5 is minus 116. So it's moved a cent away from me. Again, this was a 5.5. Now that this was a 5. So there's been a 19-cent move to the over 5 since 3 in the morning, which is very bad. So that makes me quite uncomfortable. But we will look. I'm in. I like it, and I really like. Again, so Feltner is less than Merrill Kelly, but Merrill Kelly is another perfect example of pitchers that we have been utilizing here because their statistical profile is ugly because they got off to a terrible start to the year. They're pitching better than they pitched all season, and we can take advantage of that. This does make me a little uncomfortable here. A little uncomfortable, though, that there's been 19 cents of movement. So, again, just so we're all on the same page, at 2:30 in the morning, this was a 5 at minus 110 each way, and I was like, look at me. I cried, and then now we're right back to square one. So a little uncomforting here. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board. But that's a first 3 under and a first 5 under. And we roll on. Next up, 3:45 p.m. Eastern, Houston Astros 60-59, 30-30 on the road at San Francisco Giants, 49-69, 27-29 at home. We're at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. Let's get into the weather to get us started here at Oracle. It's warm, so minus 3% runs, minus 10% homers, plus 11% doubles and triples, and we are even for singles. We have Brian King now opening for Ronel Blanco. Oh, and by the way, very interesting stuff Sharpie has for Bryce Miller. Low Isai Rolla in the house. He's also on the under in that Diamondbacks Rockies game. I've got that copied and pasted, Sharpie, about Bryce Miller. Thank you for sharing that with us. Here, this is a tricky game that I enjoyed capping very much, and I really thought that I would have come here with action on it. We have Ronel Blanco, who he's got nasty stuff. He got the UCL surgery in June of 2025. He came up in his rehab starts and had a 1.06 WHIP. I mean, it was just 17 innings and Corpus Christi, Sugarland. One start was at the Florida Complex League, so maybe the opposition wasn't as tough. Obviously, is what he's facing now. But he's not looked good. He's not looked good. And Tommy Guns, thank you for the very kind words, my friend. I love it. It means a lot to me. Thank you. So I don't know what to say about Blanco. I don't even know if we can really even say that the last start was better. He's allowed 6 home runs in his 4 starts. He's allowed a home run in all 4 starts. He has had 1 start where he's made it through 5 innings. The others, he's made it through close, 4 2/3. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in each start. And then last start, he only struck out 1, walked 3. So I don't know exactly. I would love to sit here and say, look, we're ahead of the curve here. We can back Blanco, but I know that's my eyes doing the work and not my brain. He still looks like he's got nasty stuff, but it's not working. Will it help that Brian King opening for him? It may. Doesn't have to see that the thick part of the Giants lineup right off the hop. Brian King's been good this year, 3.83 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. So then when it comes to the Giants, I need Adrian Hauser out there. He's a pitcher that I believe in. Let's see if they have an opener for him at this point. I thought I had this up. Let me just pull it up right now. Sorry, I thought I had it up. Let's just see if there's an opener or what the hell's going on here with Adrian Hauser. Because I've told you guys that I really like the way he's pitching right now. He's supposed to start, but he's not listed here, which is a concern. And he's not listed at the book. So, is he going to be the primary? Adrian Hauser is a very predictable pitcher. He's very streaky. Exactly. I don't want to make it black and white because obviously, whenever we cap a pitcher, there's levels of trickiness, but you can tell when he's going to shove and you can tell when he's pitching badly. He was pitching badly and they pulled him after a start June 16th and moved him to the bullpen. He's a pitcher who's an older pitcher who deals with arm fatigue, and he worked in the bullpen. He 5 appearances, 18 innings in July. He allowed 4 earned runs, only walked 4 batters, allowed 2 home runs, and opponents hit 194 off of him. It was his best month of the season. We talked about backing him on August 7th in that start. Now, Brubaker opened for him and was bad. It was crazy watching Brubaker shut down the game so easily last night. But, Hauser came in and looked excellent. 1 earned run over 5 innings. Hauser's bet on right now. And I do fear fading Blanco. When it comes to the bullpens, Giants bullpen 3.89 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. Astros bullpen 2.77 ERA, 1.00 WHIP's been very good. When it comes to the sticks, the Astros are hitting 266, 792 OPS. Obviously, we saw no sign of that last night. Giants are hitting 230, 689 OPS. They have no power at all versus righties, none. And then let's get into the line history. This is, I've really wanted to get involved in this game. I just need to know what the hell's going on with Hauser. So we have the Astros minus 150 at Heritage. They opened up at minus 143, so 7 cents of movement towards Blanco and the Astros. It's a pretty big line. When it comes to the total here, we have an 8.5 juice to the under. 7-cent move to the under. Yeah, Aloha Eastside Rolla says, I'm taking the somewhat better team in Houston, and the under looks intriguing. TJ says, I can't back Blanco versus an offense that will throw 7 lefties out there. Let's take a look at the splits here from Blanco, because I want to just compare them to what they were, what we saw from him in 2025 and 2024. So let's get over to, sorry, this will just take 1 second. It's crucial information here because sorry, let me just get the Blanco. I should have done this a different way, but here we are. Okay, Ronel Blanco, and let's grab his splits. We have, oh man, annoying. Here we go. Okay, Ronel Blanco, And then we'll go over to splits. Okay, here we go. Let's roll. So, lefties this year, 250 with a 912 OPS. And, he's faced 68 at bats, 44 have come from the left hand side. So they're obviously, really pushing lefties at him. In the same similar numbers in 2025 when he looked really strong to start the year. Righties rating 196 with a 548 off of him. Lefties 232, 851. So it's clearly been an issue for Ronel Blanco. Now, it wasn't in 2024. God, 2024 through 167 innings. He went 13-6 with a 2.80 ERA, 190 opponents batting average. We thought he was going to be a beast. Lefties that year hit 191 with a 661 OPS. So it's something that's happened over the last little while, but it has happened. So, look, I want to back Hauser. And I think that there's a lot of truth to the thought process here of TJ. I think I want to back Hauser. I want Hauser to start, and I want to back him. We'll see if we get this opportunity. All right, let's roll on. Oldie in the house. Great to see you. And then Brian King opening. If Brian King opens here for the for the Astros, and then you take out, Eldridge, Young-Hoo Lee, and Devers, Gilbert, Kavanaugh, and McRae aren't too scary. So I don't dislike the first three under, but I just want to focus on Hauser right now. TV Jones says that Giants first five he's been staring at since last night. If we know that it's Hauser, I think green light. Bet it. But we'll wait and be patient. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board. 4:10 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 74-44, 33-22 on the road at San Diego Padres 62-57, 34-26 at home. Petco Park in San Diego, California. We've now had two breakdowns of Padre games over the last week, where the line has just told us go bet the Padres right now. Vasquez start, I think it was on Thursday or Friday of last week, and then the Walker Buehler start yesterday. And they've been, it's just been working. And here, I had a plan to invest in this baseball game. I had a plan to be on the Brewers first three and first five when I was capping this yesterday afternoon. I had a plan to be on the first three under and the first five under. But the lines has moved against me in both resorts, so I've stayed off of this point at this point. TV Jones says over or nothing. TV Jones, is that for this game? For the Brewers Padres game? We're Petco Park in San Diego, California. Let's see. I want to see if the marine layer is in effect. Then it's not. Minus 3% runs, plus 5% homers, minus 13% doubles and triples, and minus 2% singles. We have Dustin May making his second start as a Milwaukee Brewer. He looked great in his first start. We backed him. 4.30 ERA, 1.27 whips. Got a 4.06 expected ERA. And he's been great this year, man. He had the back issues, and they affected him. And he was almost perfect in that June 15th start against the Padres over 9 innings. He did walk a batter and allow a hit, but then the bat got to him and he struggled a little bit. He was pitching very, very good his last two starts as a Cardinal, and then he went over to the Brewers, and he's been very, very good. Thursday, August 6th, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, and a 5-2 win at home over the Pirates. So I wanted to back him. Robbie Ray, on the other hand, 10-7, 3.24 ERA, 1.33 whip, 4.58 expected ERA. Been very interesting watching Robbie Ray as well as Casey Mize, figure out pitching for a new team. Now, Robbie Ray's moved around, but Mize, that was one team he's known his whole career. Shout out to Troy Torrance in the house. Turnbuckle Tommy has Padres money line in his pocket, says May gets smoked today. Robbie Ray wasn't having a good season. And then something triggered in June. He had a bad start at home versus the Nationals, and then he started shoving. 3 straight starts. He doesn't allow a run. June 16th, 23rd, and 28th. 2 of those starts, he went 8 innings. He was dynamite. And he's been dynamite since. It hasn't stopped until that first start at home versus the Astros. He went 5 innings. He allowed 4 earned runs and 1 homer and 2 Ks. Okay, Kelly's saying the Arizona-Colorado bet on the banner is missing the move first 3 under and first 5 under. Okay. Well, we got Swiggy here in the chat, so Swiggy can take care of it. There's Spooner in the house. So So let's go into the line history and sort of see what's happened now, because the market has been pretty good in indicating when the Padres should be bet. Padres bullpen 3.40 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. I think that's another thing that's happening with the Padres right now is that their bullpen is back to being what it was for the first 2.5 months of the year when they were the best bullpen in baseball. Brewers bullpen's just been professional all season long. 3.68 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. They seemingly have never slipped, just always been trustworthy. The Brewers versus lefties 214, 676 OPS. Padres versus righties 268, 26 OPS. The Padres are hitting. The Padres are coming together at the right time. And Turnbuckle Tommy says, there's been a move to the Padres. Well, there'd been a move yesterday afternoon, which is why I didn't back the Brewers. So I'm not surprised that, that has continued. Let's first touch on the total. This total is not moved. It's not moved. Very, very interesting. There was a 5-cent move to the over during our show last night. It's come back. Heritage has this as a pick'em. Bookmakers had this heavily juiced to the over. This got up to minus 120 last night, but now we're at minus 117. They're the only book that's doing that. And then on the money line here, we have this 10-cent move to the Padres from plus 113 to plus 103. There was a 4-cent move initially, 5 more cents by our show yesterday. So 10 cents of movement towards the Padres. Let's take a look at the cash flow. I think that will be very interesting. You have 58% of the tickets and 78% of cash on Milwaukee. So you have 42% of the tickets and 22% of the cash on the Padres. It was 56 and 90. Look at that, too. It was 50. So the graphic is what the cash flow was 43 minutes ago. And it's really, I love the fact that we use the updated version when I talk about it because it does give us another sense of what the hell's going on. So money's coming in on the Padres. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly telling us that the Padres should be bet, isn't it? Huh. And TJ saying again, the books are happily taking Brewers money. I agree with you guys. I still find it hard to believe, though, that May's just going to get lit up and smoked here. I know we got to move faster than we're going, and I'll speed up games here in a second. But we have an 8 at a pick'em with May and Ray. 2 very good pitchers. Let's just compare it to the total yesterday. Yesterday we had Harrison and Buehler, and we had a 7.5. Why would that be? You'd have to think that May and Ray are at a higher level than. And with Henderson and Mize, we had a 7. So look, I'm not going to mess. I can understand why there's a thought that May gets touched up. I don't understand why with these 2, really good pitchers on the mound, we'd have a total so much higher than the last 2. I'm with you guys. I think now this isn't as dramatic as yesterday. Yesterday was, it was just clear and present danger for anybody who was on the Brewers. If we look at this is a 10-cent move, and it's important to see it. But yesterday it went from plus 136 down to plus 105 at 115. There was buyback, which there usually is on a move that big. So, Troy Torrance says, have you noticed changes in the market? There's a disconnect. For example, the line moves 2 cents towards the Padres, but 10 cents away from Milwaukee. Well, yeah, what we see is that generally speaking, and then maybe this isn't the right example, it's just that there's more VIG earlier and that the VIG gets lower and lower. And I know that doesn't answer your thing there, but he says they decoupled. That is interesting. I'll keep an eye on that. But for me, I'm with you guys. I'm going to be on the Padres here. The book's opening up their arms to Brewers money. There's Josh Witt. Great to see you, Josh. All right. Let's roll on. Next spot on the board here. 6:40 p.m. Eastern, the Cleveland Guardians at the Detroit Tigers, Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Talking about noticing interesting things from the books. Bet365 has been off market, 15 and 20 cents off of market the last few days on first fives. and then they've fixed it and changed it. But it's hard to believe a company at that level would be making mistakes. And, maybe they're just ahead of the market moves, because right now, if you look at Valdez, whom I wanted to back. Sorry, let's just go over to first fives with Valdez here. Pinnacle had it minus 135 and minus 136. The whole market had it at minus 135, and yet Bet365 had it at minus 120. It didn't make sense, but Bookmaker also seems to be following that. They had it at they had it minus 127. Why would 365 be 15 cents off market? And I've been seeing a lot of it lately. A turnbuckle Tommy on the Tigers money line. Mark Sasowski says, I think May gets touched up on the road. He agrees with that take in that last game. But let's talk about the spot. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. The Tigers 30-27 at home, plus 8% runs, even for homers, plus 2% doubles and triples, and plus 12% singles. I don't know what Foster Griffin is going to do here. He was pitching at such a high level. From June 5th to the first start after the All-Star break, July 19th, he allowed more than one earned run one time. I mean, he was just pitching at such a high level. Here, Matty Ice saying that with a very large sample size, Framber Valdez pitches the best in the month of August his entire career by far. What we see here from him is he gets better as the season goes on. He's a bulldog. But Foster Griffin is the question mark here. TV Jones says Foster Griffin's arm might be falling off. 133 innings this year, most in his career. Threw 78 innings last year, and 120 is the most he threw. Tigers offense is on fire. He likes the Tigers team total over. TJ says this was a fairly easy click for him. Detroit first five money line minus 122. It's astonishing that I got minus 120 last night when every other book was at minus 135. Spooner says Bet365 is off market in the early market scenarios. They just copy a sharper book and add extra vig. Matty I says Framber got touched up earlier this year versus Cleveland. However, he has great numbers versus Cleveland overall. But let's just finish off with Foster Griffin here quickly. Maybe TV Jones has absolutely nailed it. And there's a few pitchers, Brandon Young being one of them, that have pitched more than they've ever pitched before. And I was wondering if it was more predicated on the fact that he's a 30-year-old rookie and he's never been traded at the deadline. He's never, dealt with all this. And he, was getting better and better and better. And then he's fallen off the last start before the All-Star break and the first start after the All-Star break. And so I don't know what exactly he's going to do here. But maybe the fact that he's, at this point with his innings, maybe that is just it. It's just that simple. And that I'm trying to find psychological reasons around the trade deadline. And maybe it's just the fact that he's never pitched this many innings before. That might be extremely right. The other side of this coin is that Valdez is pitching at an extremely high level. We can put a line through that first start after the All-Star break because a lot of vets, got hammered. Then he pitched better in the next start versus Royals. The last two starts, he's been lights out. One was in Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. That's a tough place to pitch. I know the A's bats are meek. The second spot, Thursday, August 6th, doesn't allow a run over 7 innings and 11-0 win at the Mariners. He's gone 14 innings. He's allowed 2 earned runs. He struck 11 and walked 4. He's just pitching at a high level. When it comes to the bullpen, we have an advantage there. The Guardians' bullpen's just not pitching well this year. It's hard to fathom. 4.86 ERA, 1.45 whip. Tigers' bullpen, 3.22 ERA, 1.20 whip. And then when it comes to the sticks, Guardians versus lefties, 226 OPS. Tigers versus lefties, 254, 686 OPS. Neither of these, squads are, hitting right now. So with you guys completely here, I moved on to Tigers first five. I didn't really want to double up on it. And I didn't double up on it. Let's take a look at the line history now. Line history-wise here for this spot, we have the Tigers sitting here at -1. Oh, that's the first five. Sorry. So Tigers sitting here full game at -122. So this line's moved away from them 8 cents. Cleveland opened up at +118, now +111. Let's get to the total here for this spot. We have a 7.5 opener, -120 to the over, and then it got hit hard. Now it's 8 juice to the over. So I could understand Kepper's liking that spot. When it comes to the cash flow, here we have 74% of tickets on the over and 88% of cash on the over. The market is adjusting due to it, so I wouldn't be too uncomfortable with it. Detroit has 69% of the tickets on them, 62% of cash, and lines moving away from them. There's some discomfort there. When it's all said and done, I'm very comfortable with my spot. I wonder if they've moved this Tigers first 5 here. Let's just see if that's moved over at Bet365. And not really. It's minus 125. It's just strange that they would be, off market on it. But there you go. I'm on the Tigers first 5 minus 120. Let's roll into our next spot on the board. 6:40 p.m. Eastern with the Pittsburgh Pirates 58-62, 28-32 on the road at the Miami Marlins 60-59, 36-24 at home. We're at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. We got Carmen Mlodzinski on the hill going up against Jansen Junk. Mlodzinski hasn't gone more than 3 innings since June 10th. Before his start on Friday, August 7th, he hadn't started the game since May 25th. I like his stuff. 3.51 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. I think he's got a place in this rotation, honestly. But he didn't look good in that start on August 7th versus the Mets. 3 innings, 5 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 1 walk. He just didn't look comfortable. He was at home. Now he goes to Miami. Will it be more comfortable for him? I'm not sure. Justin McKelvey got the Pirates plus 100 in his pocket. Got Jansen Junk on the other side, 5-7, 4.63 ERA, 1.36 WHIPs. Got a 4.22 expected ERA. He was on the IL due to right shin bone inflammation, and he was on the IL for a long time. He went on May 26th on the IL, didn't start till July 9th, and he's not been going deep into games, and he just doesn't quite look right. He doesn't, he's got some pretty nasty stuff when he's rolling. Got multiple pitches that he can use in high leverage situations, but last start 3 innings, struck out 1. I mean, 5 strikeouts and 3 walks over his last 2 starts. Marlins bullpen 4.41 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. They got us paid yesterday. Pirates bullpen's being better than them, but both bullpens are pitching quite well right now. Then when it comes to the sticks, the Pirates are not hitting. Those days when they were raking are long gone. 235, 685 OPS last 30 days. And the Marlins are not hitting really either. 242, 708 OPS. Let's get into the line history here for this one. This 8.5 at a pick'em is now an 8. Indicating that these guys can pitch well. I kind of like these guys. We have 3 cents of movement towards the Pirates from plus 104 to plus 101. Take a look at the cash flow here for this spot. We have 54% of the tickets, 73% of the cash on the Marlins. The books don't seem to be concerned. You have 56% of tickets on the under, 93% of cash on the over. Again, the books aren't showing any concern. I'd be very interested to see what we are dealing with at Penny, first 5 full game differences. So let's get into that right now. So here we go. So for the Pirates, Marlins, we have the Marlins full game minus 108. First 5 minus 114. So the Pirates are plus 100 full game and plus 100 first 5. Yeah, I guess I could see these. I think I could make legitimate arguments for either side of the fence. I could make an argument for backing Mlodzinski. I can make an argument for backing Junk. I could make an argument for both of them getting touched up. And I can make an argument for them to pitch better. So I'm going to stay off Pirates Marlins. There's a ton of volatility. If there's an angle that you like, trust it. For me, I can't get there. Let's move on. 6:45 p.m. Eastern. This is the most exciting game on the card. Kingu in the house. Great to see you, Kingu, my man. This is a very fun game. We have Jackson Kent, very, very highly thought of a prospect. He wasn't drafted that high. He was just a 4th-round pick. But he's a lefty who is they're very, very high on for the Washington Nationals, going up against David Peterson. So it's a really fun game. Now, we were wondering why the total was the way it was, because we thought Miles Michaelis was starting. And it was because Jackson Kent is starting. Instead of Miles Michaelis, the gas can. David Peterson, 6-7, 5.0, and the weather at DC, plus 2% runs, plus 9% homers, minus 1% doubles and triples, and plus 1% singles. So here, Peterson 6 and 7, 5.35 ERA, 1.50 WHIPs, got a 5 expected ERA. He's looked pretty good. He's looked much better, and he's looked really good since he's come over to the Cubs. He had that one start where he got annihilated. Other than that, he's been rolling. That one start, he allowed 10 runs over 3 2/3. TV Jones says, why are the Nats sending this kid out to make his debut versus the Cubs? How foolish. That is a salient point. I mean, you want to put your young stars in a position to succeed. And the way these Cubbies are hitting lefties, I'm not sure if that's the case. Let's just finish off with Peterson. I didn't like his last start versus the Blue Jays. He looked vulnerable, man. But he got through it. 7 hits. He only allowed 1 earned run. He walked 3 batters. There's ducks on the pond constantly, and he was just getting out of trouble. That was against the Jays team that wasn't hitting lefties at all. They still aren't, even though they got to Sandoval yesterday. I mean, they're winning baseball games, but let's not talk about them right now. So he's been good. So other than that one start where he allowed 10 earned runs, he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs, and only twice he's allowed 2 earned runs. Every start he's been better than that. Troy Torrance says, I don't think he's starting because he's a star. I think he's starting because the Nats got nowhere to turn. Okay, they think, well, whatever. I mean, yeah, I get it. They think he's a star. Let's talk about Jackson Kent. So he was in Double-A Harrisburg to start the year. He's 23, and he was lights out. It was just 7 starts, but 2.35 ERA and a 0.88 WHIP. They moved him up to Triple-A, and he was excellent there. 8 and 3, 4.38 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. A lot of pitchers fall off, when they move up from Double-A to Triple-A. You look at Noah Schultz as an example last year. I mean, he was just destroying Double-A, moves up to Triple-A Charlotte and gets annihilated. And then the following year, this year, he shoves when he starts out in Charlotte. So this is their number 1 pitching prospect. But it's a very, very tough situation. No doubt about that. Turnbuckle Tommy says he is about to get destroyed. He's not an opener, Joshua. Jackson Kent is a starter, and they want him to be a part of the rotation next year. So let's talk about the bullpens. Nats bullpen, 3.92 ERA, 1.31 WHIP, pitching much, much better. The Cubs bullpen, 2.72 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. I don't know. Do you think that's struggling, Spooner? I mean, I think he's been pitching pretty well. I mean, those are really good. I mean, 1.24 WHIP and a 4.3. I mean, struck out 67 over 63 2/3 with 22 walks. I kind of like the way he's been pitching. I can understand that we can read things differently. He's their number 1 pitching prospect, Jackson Kent. But again, we know what the Cubbies do versus lefties. They annihilate them. And then the Nats numbers versus lefties are dropping quickly. The Cubs just absolutely annihilate them. I mean, would you rather have David Peterson on the mound than Jackson Kent? I mean, obviously, you'd rather have the Cubbies lineup against lefties than the Nats lineup. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have, where is it? Here. Did they not put this up? I know that we were waiting to see who would be pitching. Here we go. Sorry. We have a 7-cent move towards the Cubs, minus 155 to minus 162. And then from a total perspective here, we have the 9.5. We've had a 5-cent move to the over. 5-cent move to the over. Yeah, let's take a look at the cash flow. I guess the Jackson Kent enigma is the issue here in this spot. When we come to the cash flow, 80% of tickets, 78% of cash on the Cubs, 57% of tickets, and 88% of cash on the over. I think Jackson Kent is a good pitcher. Obviously, they really believe in him. And This is a really tough place for him, tough spot for him to pitch, but he's at home. I'm gonna have to sit with this longer. I don't think I understand the idea that he's being thrown to the wolves and all of that, but this guy is a bulldog on the mound. He's a tough kid. I don't think he's gonna go up scared, but who knows what the nerves are gonna feel like in his first ever start going up against the Cubs. And then TJ saying, look at the first 5 difference. Let's look at that first 5 price difference. Thank you for mentioning that. So we have the Nats plus 142 full game. First 5 plus 126. Wow. So that means that the Cubbies are minus 155 full game. First 5 minus 146. Wow. Nats first 5 plus a half minus 110. It'll take some big giant balls to bet that. The Cubs lineup physically is not imposing whatsoever. I know that they're hitting, but it's not like there's no Yordan Alvarez is up there where you're like, Jesus, I don't want to pitch to this guy, even though PCA could be the MVP. I digress. Look, I'm going to need more time on this game. I don't want to sit here and say, look, I'm going to back Jackson Kent here against the Cubs. Maybe I should just watch and study it. And Troy saying PCAs could be the MVP, but he's certainly not physically imposing. All right, let's roll on. There's Sharpie in the house. Seattle Mariners, New York Yankees, Yankee Stadium in Bronx, New York. We did the same thing to Bryce Miller that we did to Jose Soriano, and it's worked great. Bryce Miller, has the oblique injury to start the year, and then he starts pitching at the highest level he's ever pitched. He was bad last year, dealing with elbow injuries, and then he starts shoving. We have great info here that I copied and pasted from Sharpie on Bryce Miller because he's been filling our pockets. Now, I didn't back Framber Valdez in that last start, Bryce versus Framber. I took the first 5 over 4, and that pushed. Bryce Miller allowed 3 runs in the first inning and 1 run in the second inning. But this is right from what the hell just happened? I just had it up. This is right from Sharpie here regarding Bryce Miller. So, God, I just had it. Annoying. There's Taint. Okay. Let's go. TV Jones says, who's going to score? Yankees score 1 inning a game. He is passing on this. What the hell did I do? I had this whole thing copied and pasted from Sharpie, and now I've lost it, and I'm not going to sit here and look for it. Here we go. Says, just finished the 3-game velocity and first 3-game velocity for Miller and last 3-game velocity. He said the first 3 games that Miller pitched this season, he threw 96.96 miles per hour. His last 3, 95.66. We're down 1.3. He said his splitter in the first 3 was being thrown at 85.93. Last 3, 84.16. With a guy who relies on his spin on his fastball, the velocity drop is an issue. Rob Free says, why the hell is New York, Seattle at 8.5? Both offenses can't score. And he says, you understand Miller's being bad. I have attacked the spot. Like you guys, I see that this total is high for these 2 meek offenses that are doing nothing. But I must fade Bryce Miller. I must fade him. So I am on the Yankees first 5, and I'm not high on Will Warren. So look at these last 3 starts here from Bryce Miller, but you could go back to that last start before the All-Star break. You go back to his last 5 starts, but his last 3 starts, he's gone 15 2/3. He has allowed 11 earned runs, 14 hits, 4 home runs. He has struck out 8 and walked 5. Struck out 8 and walked 5. Now, TV Jones says, look at what Woo did yesterday. Now, that was put on a silver platter for us. Now, we'd been making so much money fading Woo on the road that I just still took Yankees first 5 and pushed it. But Woo's his stats at Yankee Stadium are phenomenal. He's got a ERA under 1, incredible whip. He's just. But I hear what you guys are saying. We have Will Warren on the other hand, 8-6, 4.18 ERA, 1.37 whips, got 4.52 expected ERA. Will Warren had that one spectacular start. One start where he was lights out when I faded him July 31st at the Cubs. No runs over 6 2/3. I thought that he was vulnerable because the Yankees didn't pitch him after the All-Star break. They used him as a bullpen piece. They gave him one start Sunday, July 26th. He got lit up for 6 earned runs over 3 innings. I thought that he was certainly fade material, and I was wrong. And then he didn't look good in his next start at home versus the Cardinals. 3 earned runs over 5 1/3 against a team that can't hit. I mean, Will Warren allowed 3 earned runs over 5 1/3 in his last home start against a team that's hitting worse than the Mariners. When it comes to the bullpens, Yankees bullpen's been really good. 3.13 ERA, 1.30 whip last 30. Mariners bullpen 4.54 ERA, 1.31 whip. And then when it comes to the sticks, these teams aren't hitting. You guys are right. There's no doubt about it. Yankees versus righties, 198, 634 OPS. Mariners versus righties, 210, 616 OPS. Look, they're not hitting. But I am on the first 5 over. And I am on the Yankees first 5. So let's go through this total here right now. We have an 8.5 minus 118 to the over. 8 cents of movement to the over. Now when this line came out at 1:37 p.m. about the line, there was an immediate 15-cent move to the over after this line was available for 10 minutes. And it's not because the bullpens are falling apart. I think it's because these starting pitchers are vulnerable. Let's take a look at what the total movement is first half for this one. We have a 4.5 minus 120 to the over. I see minus 125 at a couple different books. The minimum is minus 120 here on the offshores. And I got the minus 110. Let's go to the money line here, and let's look at the price difference as well. So on the money line, we have a 2-cent move towards the Mariners and Bryce Miller. There had been a bigger move. This had moved from plus 118 to plus 109, so it's come back 7 cents. So it's still been 2 cents of movement towards the Mariners. And then when it comes to the cash flow here, we have 69% of the tickets on the under and 65% of the cash on the under. And the books are opening up their arms to anybody who wants to bet the under. And I'm not betting it. I really like this spot. I really, really like this spot. First 5 over 4.5. And the Yankees first 5 for me. I understand that it conflicts with what we've seen from these offenses. I get it. But I don't trust either of these pitchers here. So there we go. I've doubled up on this spot. Let's just look at that price difference here quickly over at Pinnacle, and then I can comfortably move on. We have the Mariners here. Where are we? Here we go. We have the Mariners are plus 117 full game. First 5 plus 115. So Yankees are minus 126 full game. First 5 minus 132. It's expensive. It's expensive. I got the Yankees first 5 at minus 120 at 365. But it's at minus 132, it's getting a little too expensive. Rob Free says Yankees are 3 for 25 as a team versus Miller. He says, give me the under. Taking a chance with confidence could be super trapped, though. Trust yourself here, but you also should question when they faced Bryce Miller. He just certainly was a different pitcher at that point. So there we go. GeoBed rolling with me. We got Billy Friedrich's entire card. Billy, thank you for sharing that with us. We have Billy Friedrich in the house. A lot of action. No pig milk from Billy Friedrich. A lot of action. We need pig milk. We desperately need pig milk. Oh, damn. Swiggy's saying that he had pig milk. I don't have it here in any of my action. Can you let me know which one was sweet pig milk? My bad for missing it. And thank you, Swiggy. Here, I try to copy and paste every... Oh, it's on the screen. Suarez under 15.5 outs. Okay, Suarez under 15.5 outs is pig milk. Wow, we got a lot of action in that Red Sox game. So, sorry, let me just... pig milk. Thank you, and there we go. Okay, let's roll on. A ton of action because we have Taint in the Red Sox game. We have Taint, and we have Shotgun Play of the Day as well. So let's get right into it. Is our next spot on the board here. So let's start with Taint. Taint is the Red Sox money line. Says, I like this spot for Boston, and Soriano has been horrific for Boston as well. Let's get back to our winning ways. So the Taint play of the day is the Boston Red Sox. Taint is the Red Sox. The shotgun play of the day from our guy Ronnie Crawford is also the Boston Red Sox. Let's talk about this spot. God, the Blue Jays are playing tough, man. They are playing tough. I got some high character guys that are battling, even though the big bats are not so big. Nasty Nate says Red Sox trifecta. We're at the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario. Minus 1% runs, plus 13% homers, minus 5% doubles and triples, and minus 3% singles. This was soaring towards the under. I mean, soaring towards the under. And the thought was, do they expect this roof to be open? Or, sorry, closed? And I was talking to Spoons about this. And yes, this roof will be closed. And so yesterday when we looked at the weather, it wasn't going to be raining after 5 p.m. Now it's going to be raining at 7 p.m. It won't stop raining until 8. So, yes, this roof will be closed. Will they open it up during the game? I doubt it. So, yes, this roof will be closed. And that was Spooner's suspicion yesterday afternoon. And we got a play of the day by Rob Free as well. Let me copy and paste that here. Let's copy and paste it. And let's get into breaking down here. And I've got to speed up. It's going a little too slow here. So we have Ranger Suarez on the hill. Ranger Suarez has great numbers. Don't get me wrong. 3.32 ERA, 1.17 whip, 3.55 expected ERA. He's only allowed 6 home runs over 103 innings, and he makes the All-Star team. Look, he's pitching at a high level. But in May, he had right hamstring tightness, missed a start. In July, he had a left groin strain. He's come back from that left groin strain, and he hasn't made it through 5 innings. He's had 3 starts, 4 innings, 4 2/3, and 3 innings. He's not looking good. Now I understand that the Jays can't hit lefties, and they did somehow get to Patrick Sandoval yesterday. They're the worst team in Major League Baseball against lefties over the last 30 days. I get it. But if we look at Suarez's last 3 starts, we're talking 11 2/3. He's allowed 11 hits. He's allowed 6 earned runs. He has struck out 11 and walked 4. Now, he's not a big strikeout guy. He has, had 1 10 strikeout game on his resume. That was May 31st. But this is, I can't back him with the way he's pitching right now. Then we have Jose Soriano making his Rogers Center debut. 3.24 ERA, 1.26 whip, 4.36 expected ERA. He had the greatest opening 6 starts Major League history. So after that, we faded him and made good money off of it. He was pitching decent, though. It's not like he was getting destroyed. Then his last start as an Angel was pretty good. Does not run over 5 innings. He heads over to Toronto, and he pitched in very, very tough conditions, extremely tough conditions. 4 2/3. He allowed 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and a 5-4 win at the Phillies. It was so offensive. The weather, that was like a plus 40% home run situation here. And Mr. Heat says, I believe the wrong team is favored here. TJ says Jays changed up his pitch mix. Throw your best pitch, kid. And TJ is backing Soriano here. Robert Franklin is on the Jays money line. TB Jones says Red Sox slump incoming. 2 months of luck and insane offense. They're hitting a slump here, and Soriano going to shove. Divisional game. Blue Jays gained some confidence and got the hits last night. They did. That was important for their confidence, no doubt about it. And Turnbuckle Tommy says, so 2 great cappers play today as the Red Sox, and they opened at minus 135, now down to minus 125. Turnbuckle Tommy says he will take his chance with the Jays money line. TV Jones says Houston bullpen advantage, but I think the Red Sox offense starts to slump. And Troy Torrance says Blue Jays might have the best profile on the slate. Well, let's take a look here into the bullpens. Jays bullpen 3.82 ERA, 1.52 whip, not very good, and I expect them to get worse as the season goes on. The Red Sox bullpen has been so good for so long. We got Atlanta up there right now. Swiggy, we got the Braves game up there right now. The Red Sox bullpen 1.75 ERA, 0.94 whip over the last 30. Then when it comes to the sticks, Red Sox hitting 269, 805 versus righties. The Blue Jays numbers have improved slightly. They're now 192 with a 530 OPS versus lefties. So let's take a look at this line history here for this spot. We have the Red Sox opening up at minus 120. They're now minus 119. They moved to minus 125 after it was available for 10 minutes. So we've had a 1 cent move towards the Jays at BetOnline from plus 109 to plus 108. From a total standpoint here, we've had this 27-cent move to the under. Some books are hanging sevens. You get a 7 juice to the over, a 7.5 juice to the under, which tells us that the roof is closed and Soriano is going to pitch very, very well here. Now, he has struggled against the Red Sox in the past. Let's take a look at the cash flow. We go over to this cash flow. We have 86% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the Boston Red Sox. Wow. 81% of tickets on the over and 89% of cash on the over. Wow. And Turnbuckle Tommy says Blue Jays have 46 plate appearances versus Suarez with a 182 average and a 400 OPS. Wow. Well, I've got a lot to think about. Let's just take a look at the price difference here, and then we'll move on. We have the Jays at plus 110 full game. First 5, they're minus 101, 11-cent difference. So Red Sox are minus 119 full game, minus 114 first 5. Wow. Well, this is a lot to think about. Sharpie says this line is super cheap for a team who can't hit lefties versus a bum and Soriano, where the Red Sox have a great pen. Owen Suarez hasn't allowed a run versus Jays since 2021. 21 innings, and he has not allowed a run. Wow, this is a lot to think about. I'm not going to provide conjecture here with the plays of the day and others on the Jays. I do see the Jays as being an appealing bet from a market standpoint, and Soriano in his first start at Rogers Center with the roof expected to be closed. I do find the Jays appealing in this market. I'm going to study it longer, and I will roll on here from this point. But that was a fun cap and plays of the day on the Boston Red Sox. Other cappers on the other side. Let's move on. Let's talk about Tyler Mahle and what the hell Tyler Mahle is going to do here. New York Mets 52-67, 27-33 on the road at Atlanta Braves 71-47, 39-20 at home. We're at Truist Park in hot Atlanta. 0% runs, plus 7% homers, 0% change in doubles and triples, and minus 2% singles. It is offensive weather though, plus 4% runs just weather-wise at this park, and plus 10% homers. We have Zach Thornton, the lefty. 3-2, 2.52 ERA, 1.07 WHIP, 4.61 expected ERA. He's been so much better than I thought he was going to be. Double-A Binghamton wasn't very good. He was good. He was good in Double-A Binghamton through 5 starts. 1.32 WHIP, 3.60 ERA. He allowed 1 home run. He went up to Triple-A Syracuse and didn't look very good. K to walk ratio fell apart. A lot of things fell apart. I did not expect him to pitch so well in the majors, which is what he has done. That last start at the Pirates, doesn't allow a run over 5 innings. He looked somewhat vulnerable in his 2 starts before that at home, and he's been pitching very well. Then we have Tyler Mahle, 4.83 ERA, 1.36 WHIP, 4.02 expected ERA. I did not expect him to shut down the Yankees the way he did. That's when he went up against Max Fried. Now, the Yankees obviously aren't hitting, but he's a guy who pitches so well at home for so long, and I didn't see why he would shove in his first start with a new team on the road, and he did exactly that. TV Jones says, so Mahle shut down the Yankees. We're going to make it minus 160. Thornton bounced back. Mets offense has been lights out, and the bullpen has too. This price is ridiculous, says TV Jones. And so this is a very fascinating game. Mahle is a high character guy, and he wants to place in this rotation coming to the playoffs, and he's pitching as such. And Zach Thornton seems to sprinkle magical fairy dust on the opponent and, become a dangerous lefty every time he's on the mound, which is something I didn't expect him to be this year. Braves bullpen 4.59 ERA, 1.36 WHIP. Starting to pitch better. Mets bullpen has been really good. 2.37 ERA, 1.12 WHIP. Not as good last 5 days, but very good over the 30-day sample size. Braves versus lefties hitting 259 with a 767 OPS. Mets versus righties just 235, 709 OPS. So there is an advantage here. Let's roll. Let's get into the line history here for this Braves spot. We have this total has moved 2 cents to the under. It was an under 9 minus 120. Now it's an under 9 minus 122. We get to the money line here. We have a 21-cent move to the Braves. Wow. Jesus. minus 150 to minus 171. Wow. That is massive. Let's take a look at the cash flow. We have 75% of the tickets on the Braves and 18% of the cash. 82% of the cash is on the Mets. And this line is soaring towards the Braves. The only legal book that's more expensive for the Braves than Circa is BetMGM. Circa is the second most expensive spot if you want the Braves. You have 64% of tickets on the over and 73% cash on the over. Wow. I can understand Trevor's sentiment. I can completely understand it. But this market is pretty bullish here on the Braves. Wow. Let's take a look at the price difference first 5 in full game. And then, there's so many different ways of capping, which makes it so much fun when we all work together. When I want things to be expensive because I'm saying in my head, the books don't want me to bet it. But other people are saying, look how expensive it is. Look how much value there is on the other side. And neither are wrong. We have the Braves minus 170 full game and first 5 minus 163. So the Mets are plus 156 full game. First 5 plus 141. So there's not a perceived advantage here backing Molly first 5. Wow. Now, Rod Zawacki is on the Mets here. And, it's predicated on Molly struggling in home starts, which is strange because we know how well he's been pitching, and it threw me for a loop. Rod, and then again, this is his first start at home for the Braves. Now, we saw him pitching so well 2 years ago at Globe Life, or I guess last year at Globe Life. We saw him pitch so well at home at Oracle this year. But these are the notes from Rod Zawacki. Says, bet against Tyler Mahle in home starts on the run line versus an NL team with a slugging percentage of 400 or worse. Mahle's team record in his career is 5-25. So Rod Zawacki's on the Mets. Rod Zawacki says, bet against Tyler Mahle in home. Oh, that was the same thing. I just did that twice here. But this is a pretty blatant, strong position for the Braves by the books. And that makes the Braves appealing to me. There's so many different ways of looking at it. We saw that giant move towards the Padres yesterday from plus 135 down to plus 105. I got him at plus 110. Is the idea that move has gone too far? There's no value in it anymore? Or have the books tip their hand, bet it now, or leave money on the table? Again, there's different ways of looking at these situations. I think the Braves should be bet here, but I completely understand TV Jones' thought process around it. And I am going to move on the Braves on the minus 1 line. All right, let's roll on. Our next spot on the board, 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Nice to see my friend TJ join me on the Rhett Lauder train. I've been riding this Rhett Lauder train alone. Everyone's, asking, do I have a hot crack pipe burning a hole in my pocket on the Rhett Lauder train? And I say no. Don't smoke crack. I believe in the young man. And he is starting to pay me back. It's been a very slow process of Rhett Lauder paying me back. 7th overall pick in 2023 draft out of Wake Forest. You guys know that I've been very high on him. No, we didn't get to see him pitch in 2025. I think he's got good stuff. Yes, it cost me a lot of money. And yes, I'm starting to receive the money back. His last start, Wednesday, August 5th. Quality start, 2 earned runs over 6 innings at home over the Athletics. Yes, the Athletics can't hit. His start before that, 2 earned runs over 6 innings at home versus the Pirates. Yes, the Pirates have stopped hitting. Start before that, 2 earned runs over 5 innings at the Cardinals. Cardinals can't hit. So look, he's still got a lot to prove. All right, I'm not sitting here anointing Rhett Lauder as the number 1 starter on the Cincinnati Reds. A 5.26 ERA, 1.48 WHIP. 5.26 ERA, 1.4 WHIP, 5.27 expected ERA. TJ, it's not going to work, man. It's not going to work. And you're not talking to a child either. You're talking to a bunch of adults capping sports. So, Rhett Lauder, I'm on the Reds' first 3, and I'm on the Reds' first 5 plus a half. I got the Reds first 3 at plus 115. I got the Reds first 5 plus a half at minus 115. TV Jones says Castillo probably gets hit up too, but the Reds offense is a roller coaster. It is. But I like Rhett Lauder here. And look, what the hell are the White Sox thinking picking up Luis Castillo? Look, it'd be one thing if the Mariners paid 80% of his contract and you're like, okay, we'll take him off your hands at 1/5 of the price. But no, they're paying Castillo all that he is owed. Look, I know this is the last year you have to do it, but that's a lot of money to pay a pitcher who's pitching so badly. In his final 3 starts as a Mariner, he went 17 innings. He allowed 24 hits, 12 earned runs, 7 home runs, struck out 9 and walked 5. And then the first start as a White Sox was very difficult. It was at Boston. It was at Fenway. 4 innings, 5 earned runs, and 12-11 extra inning loss at the Red Sox. When it comes to the bullpens, White Sox bullpen 2.97 ERA, 1.19 WHIP being very good. The Reds bullpen has been not bad. I know it's been bad the last 5 games or so, but it hasn't been that bad overall. The Reds bullpen 4.14 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. When it comes to the sticks, White Sox versus righties 217, 677 OPS, and Reds versus righties 231, 747 OPS. The White Sox are starting to hit righties once again. They're starting to hit lefties a little bit again. They went through quite a downhill run there for a while, and the Reds numbers are falling off, but they've been pretty good over the last 30 days. Well, let's get started with Stacks play of the day here. Murakami over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus 120. Stacks is in.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Being a 1 cent move to Castillo, minus 140 to minus 141. Very, very small move to the White Sox. And then from a total standpoint here, we have a move to the under. This was a 9.5 at a pick'em. Now it's a 9 juice to the under, and there's 8.5s on the board. Wow. Excellent job, Tommy. That was very well done. Very, very well done there. Let's get to the price difference. First 5 and full game. Here we have the Reds plus 133 full game. First 5 plus 120. White Sox are full game minus 144. First 5 minus 138. I'm very comfortable with my position backing Rhett Lauder. I got a sickness, man. In backing Rhett Lauder, I've got endorphins pumping through my system right now. All right. And then last thing we'll do is we'll look at the cash flow for this spot here. 66% of the tickets are on the White Sox and 8% of the cash. That would be a feather in my cap if this line was moving, towards the Reds. It's not. So that makes me a little uncomfortable. 59% of tickets on the over, 92% cash on the over. Are we simplifying too much, fading Castillo? It's possible. Rob Free says it should be Reds everything in every way today. Make Castillo show us. And there is our guy, Wine Time Sports, walking with his daughter, going to finish capping the card when he put her to sleep. Respect, my man. Okay, so let's roll on. Next spot on the board is Texas Rangers, Los Angeles Angels. Now, this is a game I really wanted to talk out with you guys before I made what could be considered a blunder. We got Port Dopes, Cal Quantrill. Obviously, I'm a fan of his. And George Clausen has earned a lot of fans with how he's pitched at Salt Lake this year. It got off to a bad start and was shoving. Cal Quantrill here is pitched in 24 games. He started 7. And he's only had 2 quality starts in those 7. 2 out of the 7 is fine. He doesn't go deep in the games. 3.56 ERA, 1.19 whips. Got a 4.42 expected ERA. TV Jones loving Texas. Thomas Maggio on Texas. And Sharpie saying all the money on the over yet dropping to the under says, I think Castillo has a quality start plus today. It is a concern. But again, I'm sort of like Rob Free. Well, no, I'm backing Rhett Lauder. It's a twofold thing. But let's get back to this Cal Quantrill thing. He pitched out of the bullpen last time we saw him Saturday, August 8th, 1 inning. The last time he got a start was Monday, August 3rd, and he was good. 1 earned run over 6 innings. Still have 3 runs, but only 1 earned. In a 5-1 loss at home versus the Giants. So he's had back-to-back strong starts. He I got cocky when he went back to starting rotation. I was like, look, Porto, Cal Quantrill going to be making us money, and then they lost 15-1 to the Braves, and he allowed 6 earned runs in 4 innings. He allowed 6 earned runs in the first inning, and then stuck around for 3 more. But then he's bounced back, and he's pitching quite well. Let's talk about 24-year-old George Clausen. Now, he's got ugly numbers in the show, but you can put a line through those 2 starts in early April 5th, April 11th, where he was terrible. 6th-round pick in the 2023 draft. In Salt Lake City this year, 3.96 ERA, a 1.42 whip. He's been really good, and he just got better and better and better as the season's gone on. And then he showed that to us August 7th in that last start at the Marlins. He only went 4 innings, but he allowed 1 earned run. I like him. I think he's a quality pitcher that I think we're going to see a lot of. When it comes to the bullpen, the Angels have an advantage. It's hard to trust that, but they do. 3.63 ERA, 1.28 whip over the last 30. Now they're a tired bullpen, overused bullpen here, pitching getting worse as it goes on. And then Rangers bullpen, 5.18 ERA, 1.56 whip, also not really to be trusted. And look at that. Wow, look at that Angels bullpen. So we have 4 guys who've gone back-to-back. Wow, that is not good. That is not good for this Angels bullpen. Thank you for putting that up there, Swiggy. And then when it comes to the sticks, we have Winetime lamenting on the Angels' inability to hit with runners in scoring position. They can't hit. Angels as righties last 30 days, 209, 600 OPS. I mean, it's ugly. And the Rangers, 238, 707 OPS. I know that we see them hitting in the last 10 games, but they were so bad in the beginning of the last 30 days that, they've fallen, that their numbers aren't very good. Randall Sheffield in the house. Good to see Randall. So this total has dropped from 9.5 to 9. It's dropped from 9.5 to 9. On the money line here, we have the Angels, or the Rangers gone from -130 to -133. And then when we get into the cash flow for this spot, 77% of the tickets on the Rangers and 93% of the cash. This is all making the Angels more and more appealing. Obviously, the bullpen is a problem. 88% of tickets on the under and 86% of cash on the under. So my plan for this game was to be on the first 3 under and possibly the full game under. Now, Wine Time says, why is this total so high even though the Angels can't hit? I wanted to move on the first 3 under, and it was at plus 105. I was surprised that with the total being so high, I couldn't build a 3. It was plus 105 for the 2.5, and it was minus 190 for the 3.5. So it was too expensive to build a 3. That really surprised me, and I imagine that nothing has changed. I didn't look this morning to see if anything had changed. So let's check right now. It's not changed. It's just sitting there under 2.5 plus 105. Well, I don't want to double up on unders here. Turnbuckle Tommy says could be a big problem here. Clausen pitching on 4 days rest instead of 5. I'm not too uncomfortable with pitchers pitching on 4 days rest. And it's personally, I'd have to look at how what his game log looked like in the minors, but I'm sure this kid is extremely pumped up to show what he has become here. So I like the first 3 under 2.5. God, I'd like it better the 3. But I like this. I've told you guys how I've been doing on these 9s that we're moving on first 3 unders. They've been cashing. We cashed with Colorado, Arizona first 3 under 3 yesterday. The only first 3 under we lost was this exact situation, was the under 2.5 at plus 100 because I couldn't build a 3 and 3 runs were scored. Every other first 3 we cashed. We cashed Cleveland, Detroit first 3 under 2.5. We cashed New York Mets, Atlanta first 3 under 2.5. That line moved heavily against us. We cashed Boston, Toronto first 3 under 2.5. The first 3 unders have been very good to us. Yeah, no, I hear you, Tommy. It's all legitimate. All legitimate. Rob Free says the total is high because the minor league pitcher of the month last month is trash. I don't think he's trash. I think George Clausen is a quality young pitcher. But again, I defend these young pitchers when they get lambasted for having a tough first 4 2/3 in Major League Baseball. But, I can't say you're wrong. I can't say he was phenomenal at Salt Lake City last month and won minor league pitcher of the month. But so Gio Bed says another total that opened suspicious, and Tommy said he is on 4 days rest, so Gio Bed is on the over here. I'm not going to be, but it sucks not being able to get the 3. I also want to look at this price difference one more time here. Rob Free says minors are a different ball game. Yeah, they are. The Pacific Coast League, you're going to have much worse numbers than you'll have in Major League Baseball. Every pitcher who has a 7 or 8 earned run, at the Pacific Coast League that comes up to the show does better than that. The Pacific Coast League is harder to pitch in than Major League Baseball. Would you say that is fair? That the Pacific Coast League is harder to pitch in than Major League Baseball? I mean, it'd be a fun argument. You look at these ballparks, Reno, Albuquerque. They're all 4,500 feet elevation. Summerlin is plus 100% home runs when the majors hit there. But I hear what you're saying. I have an argument against it. Again, it's not important. Let's take a look at the price difference here. Price difference first 5 in full game. The Angels right now are plus 119 full game. First 5 plus 108. The Rangers are minus 129 full game. First 5 minus 124. I think Klassen can pitch very, very well. I think he can put very, very well. So I guess I've got to figure this out. But the first 3 under is interesting and appealing to me. I wanted to see if there was going to be any kind of price difference, and then I also think that Klassen can pitch really well here today for 4 innings, and so. But I don't know if I want the Angels' first 3, but it's possible. All right. There we go. Here. Are you talking about it? Talk about his minor league numbers, though, Tommy. Don't talk about what happened to him in April. Like, if you go by his minor league numbers, there's a sample size. If we talk about what happened to him in April, I mean, it's not relevant, I don't believe. Okay, so let's roll on. The final spot on the board here is a fascinating one. LA Dodgers, Kansas City Royals. We're at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. Minus 1% runs, plus 14% homers, minus 2% doubles and triples, and minus 5% singles. We have Daniel Lynch opening, and he's been really good this year. Very, very good. And he looked terrible in his very first time being an opener. 1 2/3, 4 runs, 3 of which were in a 6-4 loss at home versus the Cubs. He looked terrible. I expect him to bounce back here. And Mason Black, there's no reason why this 3rd-round pick in the 2021 draft can't, gain confidence off of his last opportunity to pitch. That was against the Cubs. He pitched after Daniel Lynch, and he went 5 innings and allowed 2 earned runs. And kept everything together. I don't mind this Lynch-Black 1-2 combo. You have Eric Lauer on the other side, 4.89 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 4.97 expected ERA. Hauser announced finally. I love that, TJ. Thank you. So again, with Eric Lauer, every time he had pitched in a Dodger uniform, they had won. They were 9-0 in his starts until that last start, and he looked really bad in that last start. But it was at the Cubs. The Cubs are destroying lefties, absolutely destroying lefties. August 5th, 4 innings, 6 earned runs, and the 7-6 loss of the Cubs. But Royals are hitting 229, 683 OPS versus lefties. So, I don't know how much we put into that. Dodgers bullpen 4.93 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Royals bullpen 5.99 ERA, 1.56 WHIP. We don't want to trust the Royals bullpen. The Dodgers bullpen has looked a little better of late, but they're an exhausted group. Dodgers versus righties 238, 688 OPS. Can you believe that? Those are the numbers. I mean, absolutely horrible numbers versus righties last 30 days. But, whenever I turn on the game, they start hitting just like they did last night. So let's get into the line history here for this spot. We have a move towards the Royals from plus 206 to plus 189. I have a lot of interest on them early here From a total standpoint, we have a 9 minus 120 to the overs, now minus 105 to the over. So we had 15 cents of movement towards the under. And when we get to the cash flow here, we have 81% of the tickets on the Dodgers and just 27% of the cash. 75% of tickets on the under and 92% of cash on the over. I think the Royals are live here. There's no way I'm going to double down on this. And I would like to take advantage of Lynch bouncing back here. That's the main thing I want to take advantage of. So then we take a look at what's the best way to bet this. I've been on the Royals first 3 and first 5 in the last 2 games. I've done quite well with them. I did lose the first 3 plus a half. Yesterday they were down 1-0 after the 3, but cashed the first 5 plus 1 in the late game. In the first 5. And then when we get to the first 3 here, the Royals are plus 135. First 3 plus a half is minus 125. Turnbuckle Tommy says Lauer struggles more versus lefties, but he will only see 2 or 3 right now. Justin McKelvey is the Royals plus 175 in his pocket. Quantum saying the Royals have to get 1 here in LA. And I think that's how I want to back Lynch bouncing back, handing it off to Black, and fade Eric Lauer for the first 3. It's going to be a first 3 plus a half for me. First 3 plus a half. Godfather says, is this a bullpen game for the Royals? I mean, Mason Black is the primary, and he went 5 innings after Lynch when they were the combo on August 7th. So I'm going to move on that. First 3 plus a half. And I'm going to move on it with the Lynch bounce back that I expect. All right, that is Major League Baseball here for Wednesday, August 12th. Very fun breaking it down with you guys, man. What a great group of cappers it is to cap with each and every day. Very, very thankful. We need a birthday pick for Nasty Nate's youngest, turning 17 today. But let's go over all of this here. We have action for me. I came in with 13 bets. Right here. I came in with 13 bets. Orioles first 5, minus 106. Cardinals first 5 plus a half, minus 113. Colorado, Arizona first 3, under 3, minus 120. Under 5.5. First 5 under 5.5, minus 117. Orioles first 3, minus 115. Cardinals first 3, plus 115. Tigers first 5, minus 120. Yankees first 5, minus 120. Seattle, New York first 5, over 4.5, minus 110. Reds first 3 at plus 115. Reds first 5 plus a half at minus 115. Rays first 5 minus a half, minus 130. Rays full game minus 1.5, also at minus 130. Then we have here additions. And I got to be quick as we go through them. Here, there's quite a bit that I wanted to talk out with you guys, but not the early games. I came locked and loaded on those. So nothing in those first few games. Nothing in the first 4 games. I guess I came locked and loaded in all of those. I want to back Hauser. And I'm going to. So I've got to decide, look at the price difference, first 3 and first 5. But I'm going to be on the Giants with Hauser. And it might be a first 3, first 5 double up spot. I think Hauser is going to pitch really well here again. I think that the Padres should be added here, and I expect to do so as soon as the show is over. And then I'm not going to add the Tigers full game. Very comfortable with just that first 5. That line's moving against them full game. I'm happy that I'm off that Pirates-Marlins game. I stared at it too long. I'm not entirely sure what to do with Jackson Kent. I enjoyed the conjecture we had on him. Then for other additions here, we got just past Rob Free's play today. Ellie De La Cruz over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 130. I want to study this Jays Red Sox game more. It's such a fun spot. We have 2 plays of the day, Ron Crawford and Matty Ice. So shotgun and taint on the Red Sox, but I find the Jays appealing early. Then the Braves. The Braves I'm going to be moving on the minus 1 line. I do want to study that under a little bit longer here. So an under is a possibility. And then as we keep rolling through here, we're 15 minutes away from the daily sesh. We have my Reds action, which I'm more excited about that than any other. But I do think that with this total moving to the under, that Castillo could pitch well here. I have moves I'm making in the Red Sox Rangers Angels game, which is going to be, I think, the first 3 under 2.5 and the Angels first 3. is the expectation at this point. And then adding the first three plus a half on the Royals game. Extremely enjoyable to cap with you guys. Let's move on to WNBA. We swept the board 3-0 last night. I needed it. I was shook. We swept the board 5-0 on Wednesday. We went 0-2 on Thursday. Caitlin Clark did pay me back last night for her debacle on Thursday. And then I went 0-1 on Friday and was way off on the Dallas Wings. And then just kind of had to regroup. So didn't bet on Monday in WNBA. We talked a lot about the card, and I stayed off. So sweeping the board yesterday was wonderful. Let's roll here. Oh, and LaShawn B. This is interesting. It says, for your information, Angels fired all of their pitching coaches, and all of the Astros games are against under 500 teams. 2-pack parlay the rest of the year. You're welcome there for LaShawn B. They did fire their pitching coaches. That's a very important point here as well. Thank you. So let's go. Toronto, Tempo, Dallas Wings. We got to move quickly here. We're at College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. A Tempo coming up their 9th straight loss in 13th and 14 games, falling 107-95 at Atlanta. This is the final game of an ugly 5-game trip. Mabry went off in that game. She went off 36 points, 7 threes, so she's over her neck injury that caused her to miss the first game. Kiki Rice delivering off the bench with 18. Sabali, 12 points and 12 boards. The Wings coming off their 3rd straight loss in 5th and 6th games, 103-90 at Minnesota. Paige Beckers had 23 points and 8 assists. James went for a season high 19. And Odyssey Sims, the 33-year-old, what do we call him, a journey woman, scored 17, and she had to step up because Azzy Fudd has missed 2 straight games with a knee injury. So she's listed as questionable, but I looked into it last night after the show, and she practiced in full, and she's expected to play here today. So I thought that this line would move towards the Dallas Wings here. Let's just see if they have announced that she is probable Azzy Fudd here for the Dallas Wings. Dallas Wings are an angry group. They're a very, very angry group. Oh, Alamon, too, could not be in the lineup for Toronto. That would hurt them badly. She is the provider out there. But let's look at both Alamon and Fudd here and see what we are doing. So Alamon is questionable. I don't know if she goes. And then Fudd, we think, is going to go. So I expect we're going to see it, but she's still listed as questionable. Maybe I don't see why they would give her another day. They got to turn this around. AM told us last night that he was going to be moving here on the Wings -9. He says he has this at -10.6. We have Justin McKelvey stacks play today. Number 2 is Becker's 30-plus points and assists at -115, and he's on the over 184.5 here. And Turnbuckle Tommy says Dallas has been angry for the last few games, but it hasn't helped much. I think that's because they don't have Fudd here. You know, they need to have a huge advantage with guard play, and you need Fudd and Beckers both out there. Now, the big thing here is Jessica Shepard is not playing, and that is a huge loss here. You know, 14 points a game. She battles on the boards. The Jessica Shepard injury made me want to back the Tempo. But if Alamond is out and Fudd is in, and this is an angry Wings team that's coming up their 3rd straight loss, 5th and 6th games, it maybe gets me off of the game. Or, you know what? If Alamond is announced out, Fudd's announced in, I can completely understand why the over is being bet by Justin McKelvey because, you know, taking Jessica Shepard off the floor does open up the paint. This has gone from 9.5 to 10. So Dallas now 10-point favorites. And from a total standpoint, we've gone from 183.5 to 184.5. Yeah, I don't bet totals. I don't bet them, but this would appeal to me. This really would appeal to me. Sammy Colker says, personally like the Wings. Mad team at home when Tempo plays 0 defense. Could be close early, but Wings will pull away. God, I think that over makes sense. I just don't like. But with Shepard off the floor, the paint wide open, Fudd back. God, should I bet a total? I've been trying so hard to stay away from them. I was going to be on the Tempo before I realized that Fudd was coming back. So at this point, I would really only look towards an angry Dallas Wings squad and the over. God, I'm so hesitant to bet the over. And Ron Crawford said over is bet on in Toronto games. Okay. And Billy Fraser said he'd bet Dallas team total over. Let's move on to the second spot on the board. I have moved on this game. I'm on the Valkyries here. We're at the Chase Center in San Francisco, California. Golden State 13-4 at home. Chicago Sky just 4-12 on the road. Sky coming in off their second straight loss in third and 4 games, 97-88 at the Storm on Monday night. It sucks having Sidney Taylor hurt. I mean, this is a team that's battled injuries all year long, and 14.7 points per game from a team that has trouble scoring. It hurts that she's not available, and she is unavailable here. Yes, that is confirmed. She's unavailable here. Now, Salwan is a game time decision. That is an important piece to the Valkyrie. So right knee soreness. She hasn't missed a game all season long. So will she, we need to know if she's available, obviously. They're coming off their fourth straight win, 84-78, the Sparks on Sunday. But this is the reason why I moved on the Valkyrie, is because they were up 66-47 24 seconds into the fourth quarter. And then the Sparks scored 26 of the next 34. That's unacceptable. The expectation here will be the Valkyries keep their foot on the gas pedal after the debacle that they almost caused. I mean, that was a 1-point game with 1:38 left after being up by 19. So I think that they keep focused and hammer here. But Sammy Coker says no Stokes. Chicago could dominate inside the paint. The Sky team total over here for our guy Sammy Coker, who does a great job. Yeah, it's a neck contusion for Stokes. So I hear what you're saying, but I think the Valkyrie keep their foot on the gas and press down. Then we'll roll on here. Rob, you're the man. We love capping with you, Rob Free. Thank you, buddy. Then the final spot on the board, Minnesota Lynx at Portland Fire. I'm nervous about my action here. I've moved on the Portland Fire at 12.5. This total's gone from 184.5 to 185.5. And then we have 13.5 now. This is not good. Not good. Makes me nervous. Lynx coming off their second straight win, 103-90 at home over Dallas on Sunday. Dallas didn't have Azzy Fudd, and Kayla McBride went 10-14 from 3, 16-21 overall. I mean, they set a franchise record with 18 threes. What if they don't do that? Ron Crawford is laying it with the Lynx. I get it. But it's hard to back a team in Lynx that just does enough to win games. And even when they shoot unbelievably well, they cover by 13. That's legitimate. So Portland, this is the final game of a 5-game homestand, which I don't always like. Justin McCovey's got the plus 13.5. So I'm nervous about my action on Portland. But it's the market that's made me nervous. Let's just quickly look at these, the cash flows in these spots, and then we'll put a bow on the proceedings. A daily sesh is popping off right now in 5 minutes. So get over to the daily sesh. Swiggy will put the link in our chat. 77% of tickets and 74% of cash is on Toronto, which also makes Dallas appealing. I'm not sure why this total isn't moving more, but Circus moved to 185. I think I should move on that over as well. And then, especially with Shepard out of the lineup, I think Toronto can get theirs. Then we have 82% of tickets and 88% of cash on Portland. It's public. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. But I like fading Chicago here. 91% of the cash is on Chicago. Now, it has moved to an 8.5 at these books here, at these legal books. That is, and Justin says no reason to be nervous. And Warbuck says we know the Lynx can't cover. That makes me more comfortable hearing that for sure. That is our show for today. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Have a great time with Dutch Boy Fresh, Dabby Cab, and Chapadelic Funkaroo. These are the plays of the day from our cappers. Murakami over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs plus 120. Stacks play day number 1. Paige Becker's 30-plus points. Stacks play, or 30-plus points and assists is number 2. And we need a birthday pick for Nasty Nate here. Flank Steak play today is the Boston Red Sox. TJ's play today is Cincinnati first 5 money line. Matty Ice Tank play today is the Red Sox. Billy Friedrich Pig Milk play today, Suarez under 15.5 outs. Shotgun play today is the Boston Red Sox here. And let's take a look here for the best bet for me on today's show. The birthday pick here. the birthday pick here. Huh. There was that one. Oh, yes. Orioles first 5. Baltimore Orioles first 5. The Wizard of Boz. Thank you guys so much for running with us. Have a great, great day. Thank you for your support. Let's get that fucking money, man. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers.
It's easier to sleep in the black. When you're losing your ass and feeling so, you know what to do. Tune in to Pop Sports Radio. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's a roller coaster ride, you're gonna catch a bad beat. No problem, keep your head up and just bet the spreadsheet. It's easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. All thanks to Jeff Slaughter, these shows have our backs. POD's always rolling, especially the stats. Easier to sleep in the black. It's easier to sleep in the black. We got Jimmy, Jose, Dabby and the fam. Dutch wine time, Spooner and OG Wham. So hit the like button, don't say that you can't. If you know what's best, just put your money on tape.